गुड इवनिंग एंड वेलकम टू गना शॉट में आप सबका स्वागत है. Today evening we're going to look at how India can tide over the Iran war, and more importantly, can India turn the tide in the Iran war? Both. How can we tide over? Can we be of help to resolve the situation? At the outset, I must tell you that India is in probably the best position to mediate and get this war to a closure. All right? And it's got the best credentials to do so. And remember, that's the first part of the story. Remember, unlike any other country, we are not at war with anyone. Look at all the major economies. They are at war with someone or the other. Europe is at war with Russia. USA is at war with Iran. The Gulf countries, the rich countries are at war with Iran. Um, China is having a war with itself. When people don't understand it, it's having a war with itself. It's only India which is home and free. So, from many perspectives, India is on a good wicket. And do you think it's the right time to start mediation? And how? And how to go about it is one aspect. And the second thing is, how does India meet its own challenges? Because this war has thrown up some severe challenges to India. And we're going to talk about that also and how. And you have to trust your own strengths to tide over the challenges. So let's get going, right? I thought, for a change, instead of talking of Pakistan, China, Iran, let's talk of India itself. Okay, let's go. First, Arakchi. He's made a statement today that negotiations are out. And we're going to listen to that part first, understand what he says, and then we'll see how to approach this whole story.
The question of talking with Americans or negotiation with Americans once again would be on the table because, we have a very, bitter experience of talking with Americans. We negotiated with them last year in last June, and they attacked us in the middle of negotiations. And again this year, they tried to convince us that this time is different. They promised us that they don't have any intention to attack us. And they wanted to resolve Iran's nuclear question peacefully and to find a negotiated solution. And we finally accepted. But again, after 3 rounds of negotiation and after the American team in the negotiation, said itself that we made a big progress, still they decided to attack us. So I don't think, talking with Americans anymore would be, on our agenda anymore.
So there's no, as per him, it's not on their agenda to talk to the Americans. On the other hand, Mr. Trump says, what will I get out of talking with them? I don't want to talk to them. I have all the cards and whom do I talk to? So there's a problem both ways. If people don't talk, how does this war end? Will it end by exhaustion? And who's going to get exhausted? And the Iranians, the mood in which they are not going to bend. I mean, you see the foreign minister, he has no hesitation in saying, I'll not talk. They are prepared to accept death, but not talk. So it is in this conditions, we have to see who can talk. Like I said, can Mr. Putin talk? No, he won't be acceptable. He won't be acceptable to USA. Right? Of course, anyone in the Gulf can't talk. Is Xi Jinping ready for talks? Out of question. वो तो decamp कर गया वो. Japan, no. Who's the one to talk? Turkey, no. Turkey has also been hit by Iran. So who's the only person? It's the only person who can talk is today Narendra Modi. And this is not my opinion. This is an opinion which has been expressed. And first, let's go to Tucker Carlson's show and see what he has to say.
How do we get out? I think you have to find an intermediary, first of all, someone who is not part of the problem.
So that's important. He says you have to find an intermediary who's not part of the problem, right? Who's apart from the problem. Who's apart from the problem? India. Like I said, India is the only country which is apart from the problem.
My personal preference, if I were advising the president, is to call Prime Minister Modi in India. Now you can say, well, he was just in Israel. Well, that's fine. He has good relations with Israel. That's not a bad thing. He also has good relations with Iran. He's never been an enemy of the Iranian people. Neither are the Shiite Iranians his enemy. He knows that. And he has reasonable relations with the Chinese. They have their differences up in the mountains, in the Himalayas, the Hindu Kush, and that is a legacy of British colonialism. But my point is that he's historically leading a neutral state, and a neutral state that is growing in stature, in power, in influence and importance.
So he's talking of a neutral state which is growing in stature, in influence and power. We'll see what is that part of it also later. Because unless we are understanding how we are growing, we will not have the confidence to say, okay, we can mediate. Okay?
Recognize that and welcome it, not treat it as a problem. And I think if President Trump talked to him and said, look, we need to end this. And somebody will say, well, why do you need to end it? Because if we don't, we're going to hit $300 per barrel of oil. We're going to watch 60 to 80% of the stock value crash.
So that's the thing. They're very clear. The Americans are very clear. Right? What Trump set off, he's ignited a fuse and the fuse is burning. And the fuse, if it hits the $300 mark, it will go. Well, even $200 mark, I think a lot of things will go belly up. Okay, it's not only him. Alexander Stubb, the Prime Minister of Finland, or the President of Finland, sorry, he also was of the same opinion.
First of all, who are the right people or the right person to try and help?
Well, we need a ceasefire. So I'm just wondering whether the Europeans or actually India could get involved. We saw Foreign Minister Shankar calling for a ceasefire and negotiations just to calm down the temperature and freeze the situation as it is. The problem in these kinds of situations is when you kind of have three players, Israel, the US, and Iran, all with more or less different interests. It's very difficult for them to organize themselves into a peace kind of a situation.
So it's very clear. This is the European view. You have the American view. And many more. And in any case, in the Middle East, you have good relations, and we'll talk of it a little later. So you are actually, you're acceptable to everyone. Am I repeating everything? Maybe. But I'm also building a case. Okay, let me get back to first principles. We have to go back to something which happened last month. Milan 26. So what is Milan 26? The exercise off the Vizag coast. Have a look at that clip, understand it, and from there we'll pick up the threads. Right. So this happened finished 3 days before the war started here. Right? It is also known as the International Fleet Review, for which our president went. There were something like 52 nations which took part in this exercise. It was on two, this thing. One was a tabletop exercise and one was a, in the sea exercise. Right? And basically a march past of all ships which went by. Okay. Now, what more? What's so great about that? That's the point. What's so great about it? The greatness about that is this. what I'm going to now show you. One minute. Yeah, this is the thing. United States government put out this that the U.S. Navy concluded participation in multilateral exercises Milan 2026. Immediately after that, okay, on 25th February 20, they put it out, and they put it out with a lot of pride that U.S. ships also took part and all. But very interestingly, this also came out. It says Admiral Dinesh Tripathi interacted with Admiral Shahram Irani, commander of the Islamic Republic of Iran Navy. Discussions reflected shared perspectives on enhancing regional operational cooperation through reciprocal port calls and expanded training exchanges. All this was there. Okay. And during the Raisena exercise, which I've shown you in my earlier pictures and clips and all that, and earlier videos, the foreign minister, deputy foreign minister of Iran, the US Undersecretary of State, I don't remember his name, and the Israel uh, deputy minister or someone came. All three of them spoke in Raisina dialogue at various times, not together. This was when the war was going on. 1 week later, in the India Today conclave, it is repeated. Only thing this time, all three ambassadors spoke. I checked with Sandeep Punithan. Sandeep was there the other day, and I said, "Look, did they speak in between?" He says, "No, they didn't speak. It was so arranged that they didn't meet each other, and it was so arranged that staggered timing. One was in the morning, one was in the evening, and all. But that's not the point. The point is, all of them spoke on a platform. So you see these three exchanges: one before, two after. Now, what else happens in between? What else happens in between? What happens is that ship off the Sri Lankan coast was hit. Why was it? I mean, why it was hit? It was hit by the American Navy. It sank and all that. Those soldiers plus another ship which was there in Thiruvananthapuram. It's there. Those sailors were all kept with India and sent to Iran. So you find that we didn't let Iran down. We didn't let Iran down. And we helped out Iran in that whole deal. Many people said, no, that ship hitting in our area is this thing, US has done something, given a message to India. All that is bullshit. It's international waters. There's a war going on between USA and Iran. Okay. It's up to them what they fight, not fight. And though ethically USA has done the wrong thing, it's not on us. Yeah. We know. It just put USA in a bad position, and we know that we can't trust USA. I mean, trusting USA is like trusting, the street dog. It'll go this way, it'll go that way. I mean, you look at it, the way they put down that ship in open sea, which is not correct, ethically not correct. And when all this is happening, you find one mercenary surfacing, Matthew Van Dyke in Northeast. So how can you trust? But notwithstanding that, we still trust them for what it is worth. Okay, you can't run away from them. So with all these credentials, India has the best credentials to take this whole thing forward. Okay, now you see in the past 2 days, certain initiatives taken by our Prime Minister. In this, you see what he has said. This Mr. Randeep Jaiswal, he has said, Prime Minister Narendra Modi spoke with the leaders of Oman, Malaysia, France, Jordan, and Qatar, where he outlined India's position and everything. Our Prime Minister has also condemned the attacks on energy infrastructure. And he also gave support for moving through the Strait of Hormuz. So they, he's a prime minister has spoken to everyone. More importantly, he had a conversation with Pezeshkian, which I mentioned in the morning. But now I'm stitching all those dots together, right? All those dots together, and right. This is a thing by Iran in India. That is Iranian ambassador in India. It's a long readout, but I'm only let's see only little. He says President of Islamic Republic of Iran held a telephone conversation on Saturday with Sri Narendra Modi, that is yesterday evening, during which they discussed and exchanged views on bilateral relations as well as regional and international development, all that. Of course, they'll give their side of the story. Dr. President outlining the dimensions of the aggression, unlawful attack, and crimes committed by the US and the Zionist regime, emphasized that Iran did not initiate the war. He stated that the aggressor, without any justification, logic, or legal bias, launched military attacks X, Y, Z, A, all that. But the fact is, such a readout, Iran has not put with anyone else because they have not spoken to anyone else. It's only with our Prime Minister they have spoken. Such a put out is not there anywhere else. No one, there's no outreach. None of the Europeans are giving an outreach. So where does that put our Prime Minister? And what do we do next? And many people say, no, we shouldn't do anything. Yeah, all that. But no, we must. So this is a great opportunity because if you are successful or partly successful and you become a neutral player in this whole thing and everyone starts talking to you and explaining to you the whole thing, don't expect Trump to do that. Trump will not do that. But at some point, negotiations have to begin. At what point will they begin is a question mark. Then, of course, it's not that, I also feel that if you initiate negotiations before the parties are ready, then you will fall flat. And in this, these are delicate things. Our Prime Minister has a chance at it. One, a second chance won't come. If in that chance people don't agree to what he says, unka jo prastav hai, or what he puts forth, if it's not taken up, I'm not saying accepted, it's not taken up and considered, then the whole thing is a washout. Then there's no one left. So the matter of thing, a lot of people say, why has he not taken the thing so far and all? He's done that. The right time for mediation, the way I look at it, is of course, if there is a door open for mediation, then there's this thing. In this case, there's no door open for mediation as of now. The next, so hence, you have to push the door open for mediation. When will you push the door open for mediation? You can only push the door or knock on the door for mediation when both parties are reasonably exhausted. Or all parties. In this case, all parties. Yeah, already some of these Gulf countries have started talking because their sustenance is low. They can't, but they're caught. So either Iran or USA, I wouldn't say has to blink, but have to take a step back. And in this case, I think USA has to take a step back. If USA doesn't take a step back, this won't go anywhere. Because one, USA is the bigger player. It is the one who started the conflict. It is the one who has larger stakes in the system. Everyone will blame the USA for this war, not Iran. You see that already. So it is up to USA to either declare victory, do whatever they want to do, a face saving and get out. At least de-escalate the war. Iran won't do. Iran won't do. So, but there will come a time when Iran might not do it publicly, but they might listen, around the corner. तो उसको नीचे, take him to a corner and say, यार, क्यों, क्या कर रहे हो? What is left with you? So has that point of exhaustion reached in Iran? No, judging by what people are saying. Already there's a new threat which I'll talk of tomorrow. Right? New threat. You take out my electricity, I'll take out your water. Right. So we'll see. We'll see that update what happens tomorrow. And oh, by the way, morning I'll not be coming. I'll start my thing at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. If I finish off, uh, I have some work in the morning. So when I come back after lunch, 2 o'clock, I'll give the update. And of course, tomorrow evening will be the Ghana site. We'll see how that goes. So this is where we are in terms of negotiation and everything. So we need to, you know, see how you can, help and, take this whole story to a closure. We have an important role. Now, the next point is India willing to take up this responsibility? Why am I saying is India willing to take up this responsibility? In Ukraine, you didn't take up that responsibility. Though our prime minister went and spoke to Putin and Zelensky, we didn't do the negotiation, get them on the table. Was that a more complicated affair than this or not? We don't know. I mean, it's up. When I say we don't know, of course we know. There we had better credentials, the way I look at it, because we had nothing to lose with both of them, and we had nothing. We had a lot to gain from both of them. Our stakes were high. Here the stakes are higher. Okay, and the situation is worse. But the situation is sort of dicey. Okay, at that point of time, if you have not taken up, why would you do so now? You would do so now because you are at risk. The fallout of this war is not going to be good for us if this continues for a long time. It will not be good for anyone else, but it will not be good for us. So it's better we step in. We don't have a choice actually. But will we do that? Is our government prepared to do that? Because there are costs to negotiation. There are political costs for negotiation. So let's see and wait. I just made a case that we should. There might be different opinions, but that's okay. Okay. Now let's go to something else. We'll talk of something else right now. Okay. And that is, one oil tanker and LPG tanker has come into my Mangalore port. One from America and one from, I think, Russia. That's what's been reported. More will come. So, what has India started doing to tide over the case? We are now going to, discuss what does India need to do to tide over the crisis. So, we have to start diversifying, and which we have started doing. Okay, right. But what is the length of the problem? Right, where are we? You have started diversifying. With your diversification, you will have a slightly better way out. But there's another important thing which this man, Robert Kiyosaki, has said. What is Robert Kiyosaki? Who's he? He's the one best-selling author. He's the best-selling author of this book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It was an economic masterpiece, say about 15 years back. He says not Russia, not USA, but India will be the winner in this war, in Iran war. But so far it doesn't seem so. Maybe in the long run, yes. And why? He says India is playing chess where other playing checkers. And what he says is, look, because India has surplus refining capacity, it has to refine for the world. Because a lot of refining capacity is stuck within the Gulf. It will not come out. Right? Those refining capacities have been hit. They're so done. If that refining capacity is not there, in the rest of the world, there's adequate oil, but no refining capacity. So refining capacity is here. So what do? You will buy the oil at whatever the cost, take it and resell it back. In that margin which you make should offset any cost increase. At this point of time, I think we are at a break-even point of about when $100 to $110 per barrel. You're at a break-even point. But the problem will come if it goes higher. It will start pinching you. But remember, when we were a $1 trillion economy, we could handle $150 per barrel. Okay? The government could handle it. Today, you are a $4 trillion economy, and we can handle 100, 110, $120 per barrel. Even 150 wins, if it's in a worst case scenario, we can handle. But when you go into 200, 300, we don't know how things will happen. That's uncharted territory for us because oil has not hit that. And earlier, Iran has said we will make sure that oil hits there. And that will be global chaos. If that is the objective of Iran, how do you handle it? Right? Okay. Now, let's look at how do we tide over the crisis. Okay. Let's see how we tide over the crisis. And we have a crisis. A lot of I've just taken two. This is of course of New York Times. It came out today in the morning, and I saw it. It says as war disrupts India's Gulf ties, economy faces new broadside. And similarly, NDTV they also said indirect yet palpable. Iran's war impact on real estate in Mumbai. Mumbai real estate is also shaking because of oil. Now let me put it the other way around. It's not only NDTV and New York Times, India Today, sare. Everyone has said there's going to be an impact, bad impact. Right? We know every day there's an update, and we'll touch on that also. On oil price, petrol price, LPG price. How far can India hold on? So far, the government has done an admirable job. Let's be very clear. No other country has been able to control things the way India has so far. We've been able to get tankers out of Iran. We've been getting tankers from elsewhere also. And even to the extent 6 ships were turned away midway from China to India. So we are in a good position. We shouldn't flap. Right. Now let's understand the magnitude of the problem. 40% of our country's oil imports and 80% of the gas, come from the Middle East. 80%. And we import 90% of our crude. That's our problem. I mean, it's our Achilles heel, and our Achilles heel has been hit. Right now, as the energy prices go up, our economy will get, shaken up, and our strong growth, which has been there so far, mild inflation, all that is under risk. Right now, as per common consensus, if the cost of petrol goes, not petrol, oil goes over $100 a barrel, then the economy starts getting hit. We're already there. Okay. So if you say, look, will we clock a GDP for 8% this year? No. 7%, I don't know. 6%, maybe. Okay. Even 5% is good because others are going to go into negative territory. There's going to be huge contraction in the globe on this issue. Now, it's not only import. Your Gulf is also a export destination. If there is tourism, air routes, transit going to USA, all those are getting hit. Though my own view is another week, 10 days, we'll get a clarity as to where we are headed and things will start cooling down. Many of our businesses believe in having hubs, or they have hubs in Dubai, and that's where they have distribution. We have 9 million people in the Middle East. Their safety and security is at risk today. Okay. What about remittances? And 40% of our global remittance comes from the Middle East. That's also at risk. Because the workers are going to be thrown out or something. Their pays might be decreased. If their pay decreases, then what? Okay. We also sell electronics, textile goods, rice, refined fuels, all kinds of food stuff. everything we send. There's $50 billion trade between us and UAE. 25% of that is repackaged and sent to Africa, Afghanistan, and Pakistan through Dubai. That's going to get hit. So you'll see a contraction overall. Can you offset it by anything else? We don't know. So far, I don't think anyone has really looked at it, or they might be making a plan. The grant or the government, which has done so well so far, they might be making a plan. And beyond oil, we have other problems. Gold. Okay, 24% of total import of gold comes from there. Gemstones, pearls, okay, manufactured fertilizers. If fertilizers don't come in time, we will have a problem in our summer crop. Rice. As it is, people are saying that it's going to be a hot winter. Okay. So if it's going to be a hot winter with no fertilizers, our crops will go down and we might hit into a drought this year. Aircraft parts, yeah, what others are plastics, yeah. So the petroleum derivatives will hit us. But most importantly, the thing which is going to hit us most is two. One is, it's only one actually, LPG and gas. That's going to hit each one of our houses. Right? At this point of time, today evening, I think our Prime Minister has taken a meeting so to review the situation related to petroleum, crude oil, gas, power, and fertilizers. Even a power generation might take a hit. Right? So all these problems are there. And I have been talking to you every day, every second day, updates are being given. And so far, everything is stable. But will it go unstable? I don't know. Okay. Now, certain things which we have done very well, which you have to increase. It's not as if everything is gloom and doom. See, you see the rise in wind capacity in over a 20-year period. Huge. So you need to increase this more. You have to start now. Right? The total installed solar capacity this has gone off, so I'll not take it. It's not come properly full, right? Solar capacity. You see how much it has increased in the same period, 2016 to 2025. 10 times it has increased. Time to go more. Solar pump installations have increased from 3 lakhs to 21 to 24. Just in 3 years, you've doubled. I don't know the latest figures. So these things, renewables, you have to put more thing. And renewables will get electricity immediately. So what does the government have to do? Government has to incentivize. Let me give you a idea. This one. See, Suryagar, PM Suryagar, Muft Bijli Yojana. From 7,000, it has gone to 70,000. From 24 to before 24, it was this much. Post 24 to now, it has gone to that. This has to be popularized. There's a big bureaucracy in this. 5 years back, 6 years back, I got some solar panels put in my house. I wanted to expand it, and it is within the rules and regulations. After this Suryagar Muft Bijli Yojana came, we applied for it. Khatam. The bureaucracy has killed it. So I think if you do this, revitalize this overnight. Because if you do this, people will be prepared to spend. Why will I not be prepared to, especially if I have money, why will I not be prepared to spend money and put up a few more solar panels? I get electricity, I give it to the government, and I get some cut, everything, and the whole situation eases. It's not only I, all of us. But has the government started this thinking so far? It doesn't appear to be. This one single scheme has to be given a kick up. On that, there's no doubt. I don't have doubts about it. This itself will fetch fantastic results. This is the time. The opportunity comes during this crisis. Okay. Then, of course, everyone has asked me, sir, what is this three-stage reaction and nuclear program and all? It is this. One of these days, I'll speak about it. We are now in the center, in the second stage. When we go to the third stage, you'll get that then it is a cycle of its own. It's going to take time. It's going to take us 3-4 years. But what you can do is start preparing for the third stage now. Because you want to expand. Once your technology, everything is ready, you can't in a hurry, or rather in the right time. Because as our economy grows, and our economy will grow, you need more electricity. Of course, energy. I'm not saying electricity, it is more energy. Okay. And if you have adequate electricity, then you can think of switching to EVs and concentrate on EV. But that's a long-term, mid-term to long-term problem. Today, you have to tide over a crisis. And that crisis is only about LPG. Even that LPG crisis, you can tide over if you have enough electricity. Then you can ask people to switch over to ovens and induction cookers and all that. Incentivize them. You can incentivize solar cooking today. People will take it. Everyone will take it. But have we started doing that, or we are feeling we don't need to do it? But I would put that this is the time when we start doing it. Okay. Now let's look at it. Why India will remain strong. See, you can always say we have problems, we are going to be having a lot of issues here. But there are factors which make India strong. Today in India, 1 in 4 of all iPhones worldwide are made in India. That's a huge thing. I mean, it's only for iPhones, equal for other phones, everything. Right? What does Europe say? See, look at Europe's case. Very interesting. And that is what will keep India afloat. And we have to make common ground with the EU on this. The EU has technology. Okay. Europe is stuck in a strategic squeeze. This is what that lady says. It cannot fully rely on China. It stopped relying on China, and it can't fully rely on US. And self-sufficiency comes with a big price tag. So where does it turn? India. You have a similar problem, right? And then you have a similar problem with Canada. And Canada now has said, no, that Niger case is false, and all that. He says PM Modi and I are negotiating to sign an agreement by the end of this year to double two-way trade by 2030. Whatever it is, Canada. Canada has oil also. Canada has gas also. Canada has nuclear fuel also, to give you. So, to offset whatever is happening in the Gulf, you can do a lot of things. Provided it comes to that. And I'm sure. And we have a good base. And all this happened when? Jan-Feb. Okay. I'm not saying, we did a FTA, so we are good. No. We have this base from which you can, do what you want related to this. Okay. And Canada, the Prime Minister met Tatas. How to partner and create and security, prosperity, all that. Okay. Energy, technology, AI, these are the things which are spoken of. Then, look at this picture. Interesting picture. This man was here, Lutnik. Lutnik came to India for the deal last month with Piyush Goyal. Okay. So, and we opened a semiconductor factory in Sanand. And all this happened last month, 2 months back. And look at what Daniel Gore says. Let me.
Today marks India's entry into the global semiconductor supply chain as a manufacturing nation. This is just the beginning. With 10 semiconductor projects worth $19 billion underway across India. That is a direct testament to your Prime Minister's leadership, to his
So just think 10 projects worth $19 billion are underway in India. Even if 5 of them come through, you're on a different wicket here. Okay, they need not be the most sought after semiconductors. As it is, you are a non-fab force, semiconductor force. With this, you can jump. It's happening. And this was at that opening of that Sanand thing.
vision and to his ability to secure the future for India and for our global partners, including the United States. Gujarat's leadership is incentivizing semiconductor projects. From Sanand to Dholera, it sets an example for your entire country. The enthusiasm I've heard about at Vibrant Gujarat and the SemiConnect events shows that government, industry, and academia are aligned in making this state a successful model of production. We are beyond proud of Micron being here, and in just the last few years, they have achieved incredible results.
So, look at the base which we have. So, we should not ever think, oh, all that was nonsense. These things won't run away. The world needs India. Okay, we might have temporary problems, short term, but we have to look at the long term. Okay, right. Let me go back to my presentation. And then around the same time, Mr. Piyush Goyal also spoke something. And let me see, you should hear what he spoke, because he spoke of trust. And that's a very important thing, which will tide us. Okay, I'll let him speak first. Let me add him to the stage.
I'm truly delighted to be with amongst you at this valedictory session. When the world is facing uncertainty of the sorts that we see all around us today, India is busy building bridges of trade, bridges of trust, and bridges of transformation.
So, this he said 2 months back. The old video, it's not new. So when the world is uncertain, like it is, now it's gone into some other this thing. India is building bridges of trust and transformation. People trust India. This is one factor which we need to cash in on. And I think this is the strongest factor which India has. Right? Let's hear.
Under Prime Minister Narendra Modi, we have recently concluded a series of very high quality free trade agreements. And today, India enjoys preferential trade access to nearly 2/3 of global trade. All the 9 FTAs done under Prime Minister Modi's watch have been with developed economies who don't compete with India but complement India's journey towards rapid growth.
Okay. So he is very clear. And I agree with him. See, the transformation which is happening in India is huge. And we have to realize it. So, at this point of time, there might be a bit of a shake. That's bound to happen. This will pass. And when we come out of it at the other end, we'll come out stronger. In fact, we have the best credentials to come out stronger, and I don't see why we won't come out stronger. Okay? Okay. Now let me go back to my slide. And here it is. Even President Lula had come. And when he came, he said, look, we have to be, he said India and Brazil should be part of the UN Security Council as permanent members. Okay. And right. Then he said the meeting between India and Brazil is a meeting of superlatives. We are just not the 2 biggest democracies of the global south. This is a meeting of a digital superpower with a renewable energy superpower. We are both mega diverse countries and hubs of cultural industry, and we both defend multilateralism and peace. We should use this. And I've always been saying, last year when we were talking of tariffs and how to get off it, yeah, I said Brazil. At that time, I said in February, the president of Brazil will come and we need to deal. I'm sure we'll get into a deal with them. He's safe. He's also not against what's happening. He's completely against what's happening. So we have safe shores. EU, Canada, Brazil. I have not spoken of Japan. I have not got a clip for Japan, but Japan is also in that story. So we have places to go to. Do others have? No. Right? And then, of course, there are 4 fields in which, agreements took place: rare earths, critical minerals, and but the main thing was rare earths and critical minerals, which Brazil has. So, can you do something with some other country, technology, and take it up the value chain? We can. Okay. So, our future is good. And then India-US relations, for which, Prime Minister went there and spoke. After all, this happened just before, the war started. We have tremendous relations. And to the extent that UPI is now likely to enter Israel after this whole story is over. But this is what Benjamin Netanyahu himself says.
टेक्नोलॉजी हमारी भावी साझेदारी का केंद्र है। आज हमने क्रिटिकल एंड इमर्जिंग टेक्नोलॉजी पार्टनरशिप स्थापित करने का निर्णय लिया है। इससे एआई, क्वांटम और क्रिटिकल मिनरल्स जैसे क्षेत्रों में सहयोग को नई गति मिलेगी। मुझे खुशी है कि इजरायल में यूपीआई के इस्तेमाल के लिए समझौता किया गया है। डिजिटल हेल्थ के क्षेत्र में भी
So we are talking of digital health, UPI and all going to Israel. This is not the first country, we'll go to other countries also. Of course, I see some thing like, Vivek Berry says, Brazil is corrupt in oil and gas offshore, so it can be persuaded with money. Well, look, which country is not in that category? Okay. You have to deal with everyone. You are living in a different world today. So you have to rethink the whole thing. Okay, so I won't say de-dollarization, but your UPI is going to give you payoffs. Exploit it. I think UPI will start off in the Middle East soon. In fact, after this, it will start off sooner than anything. But a thing which is most critical to us, which I'd like to talk of, is this. Israel, Dubai, Greece, what's that? Cyprus, India, and Somaliland, hexagonal alliance. We need, after this whole story is over, need to revive it. Today morning I showed to you what Netanyahu was saying. A pipeline which bypasses the Strait of Hormuz and Bab al-Mandeb. Now it's an inevitability. After this will happen. And this won't happen without India. Now that brings me to a major point where India has an opportunity. As and when this gets over, reconstruction will happen. These Gulf monarchies will not fall. Their economies will not collapse because they have oil. Right? That oil everyone needs, it will start going out. Very simple. But they need to reconstruct also. Yeah, growth rates will not be that much. But still. And they'll need labor, they'll need manpower, they'll need HR. Where will they get it from? India. And that's how you help tide over the crisis. Not only internally, to others. Trust. Okay. So, and there's another very major thing which the opportunity is going to come up for us, and that's in defense. I got this out today, where UAE has expressed interest to buy BrahMos and Akash. Why BrahMos and Akash? We should look at other exportables. Then there are a lot. I did a program on this. I'll repeat it. Okay. Greece also wants the same. They want Akash, BrahMos, Barak 8, AO, whatever. A lot of people want proven weapon systems. Now, if these people buy proven weapon systems, you not only get foreign exchange, but you get better diplomacy. Right, slowly this spread is going. First we started with Armenia, then we went to Indonesia. Now others, who's that other one who wanted Philippines? We sold BrahMos. Now Indonesia wants BrahMos. Now these two more want BrahMos, so BrahMos will increase, and so will Akash. So this is happening. Okay, and something very interesting happened last month. For the first time, our military drills, to showcase our military drills, we invited foreign journalists. Normally, it's not done. So they understand how these are employed, how these fire, and all that. Because in all our drills, it ends up with firing. So you are slowly improving this, because if you can, your military exports, if we get there, all your problems of funding and your military and all will just vanish. Are we prepared to do that? We don't know. We have to. I have no reason. The pace of this has to increase. Okay. Then, of course, there's a tweet by a Sri Lankan. I picked it up last month. I want to show everyone this so that you understand what others feel about it. Okay. He says, 1 minute. I can't see this myself. Yeah. He says 18,000 Indians flew to Sri Lanka between February 1 to 12 during the World Cup, T20 World Cup. Not for a holiday, not for a wedding, not for business, to watch a cricket match. One match, the India-Pakistan match. And here's the thing, and this is just the beginning. In 2005, India had 17 million upper middle class and high income households. Today, 69. This is Sri Lankan talking. It's gone up 4 times. Okay? By 2030, this is going to go to 197. It's going to happen. It might not be 197, it might be 160, 150, whatever it is. You don't know. 2 years will be bad. The next 2 years might be very good. They, average. 1 in 2 Indian households will be upper middle class or high income by 2030. That's not a market, that's a tidal wave. They are 1 hour from Colombo. They are right next door, waiting for reasons to visit. If you put a fraction of effort we put into marketing Sri Lanka and Europe towards India, we realistically work towards ensuring tourism is not a seasonal product anymore. What more can you say? This is how your neighbors look at you. So you are their necessity. Okay, you are their necessity. Without us, they cannot survive in most cases. Alongside this, something else happened. Today or yesterday, I saw an article which said India will escape the middle income trap. I couldn't go through the whole thing as to why it will happen. But he says India is one country which will go tide over the middle income trap. So I'll read through that and let me come back to you people with that story. But I think one of the most important things which happened in India in the past 2 months is not anything else, but it is this, a cricket match. What is this cricket match all about? Ranji Trophy final. Who won the Ranji Trophy final for 25-26? Kashmir. Kashmir won the Ranji Trophy final. How I don't know how many of you know, and what's the significance. There was a time when Kashmir wouldn't be playing in any league. They would be in the see. The Ranji Trophy is also in different layers today. Oh yeah, chance ही नहीं है Super League में आने के लिए. Today they have won the finals. They're the champions. This is the transformation. You might laugh at this, but to me, this is a huge transformation. And people who are looking at market, ye, wo, and all that should really look at this. This is the important story because they bet teams like Mumbai, Calcutta, Bengal, Delhi, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, railways. They are all traditionally good teams. Gujarat, who have won Ranji Trophy. Like Mumbai has won, I think 50% of the Ranji trophies they have won. For the first time, Kashmir has won. It's something, right? I think, this is the power of India today, which we have to look at. But there's something else we have to look at, and that's important. Okay, R&D. We have to invest in R&D if we have to be a great power, and that's what this chap Jindal, Sajjan Jindal says. Indian companies are not making enough money. Indian industry will have to spend on R&D. India has to learn from China. There's no harm, but we need to learn. And of course, last but not the least, India has to invest into defense more than what we have been doing. Our security has to be given top priority. Why? Because after whatever is happening in the Gulf, the security environment around us will go bad. Take it from me, it'll go bad. And for that, if you have to be a net security provider or to defend the sovereignty or territory of India, we need to do more in defense. I have no doubt about it. I've said this often, but well, that's where it is. With this, I'll close for the day. I'll thank all of you. I've chosen a topic which is probably not that flashy, full of ye wo all that. We'll do it tomorrow. Kal wait karenge. Right? I thought something we need to look inward because ultimately what matters to us is well-being of India and nothing else. Okay? You might have views about it. You might have saying this is can't be done, that won't be done. Yeah. But the fact is that a lot has happened, and it has happened because you and I. The armed Indian. Okay? Right. So I am an optimist. Yesterday, I spoke to a team of, a lot of Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad people. They thought that I'm going to talk of market and ye wo. I said, nahi yaar, we are India. Market to aap log paisa lagate ho. Arm Indian doesn't have money to put in the market. Yeah. He has to struggle. He'll struggle and he'll work hard. He'll sweat. He'll go through all difficulties. We need to give them leadership to take it to the next level. And he will make you conquer the moon. That's what has happened. Right, with this, let me take a few questions and then we'll talk. Okay. We didn't do gas oil exploration in our economic zone. We actually don't have any oil gas resources around us. Are we forever dependent on oil? See, it's like this, that essay out. The point is, gas exploration is a costly process. Okay, it's not cheap, and we never had the money to do it so far. That's one. In the Arabian Sea, which is shallow, it's okay to do, but in the Bay of Bengal, which is deep, it's difficult. It's only now that we have started doing exploration around the Andaman block. So I'm confident something will come out. So wait, because nothing happens in a hurry. Earlier, we didn't have the money to do it, as simple as that. And the technologies didn't permit us to do all that. Today we have, there's something going on in Andaman Nicobar. And even the minister, Mr. Hardeep Puri, has not committed to what's coming out there. He said, yeah, we found some gas, some oil. It'll always be there. Some gas and oil will always be trapped under the earth. But is it a gas well or not? We'll see. Okay. India cannot trust America because it uses diplomacy as a distraction and later they will bill you for it like Gulf. Yeah, I agree with you. I have no doubt about it. I also said no. They want your friendship this side, and in the rear they're sending mercenaries to your place to create a new state and things like that. So there's no question of trusting America. Trusting America out of question, right? Yeah. Thanks for putting up this topic. You put across strategic realism is important and avoiding power block. Probably you're the first in countering misinformation, manipulate. You don't fall for it. The fundamentals of India are still good, and that won't change. Okay, that's a thing. Yeah, you can have words like Lula is waiting to be the next Maduro and all. I don't agree with you because he's been around for a long time and people are happy. He's got re-elected. He was thrown out. He was a president. He finished his term. He got Dilma Rousseff, who was his protege. She didn't do well, so she was thrown out. Then Jair Bolsonaro came. He was also thrown out, and Lula's come back. So when people re-elect a guy after 2 terms, 10 years, not a joker. So let's not keep saying that everyone else is a fool and we are the only smart guys. Need to have some faith somewhere. Okay. Thanks a lot for this contribution. I'm trying to get into defense R&D for 5 years. I'm still confident I will get it. Get in touch with me in what part of defense R&D you want to do. Are you going to do it as an entrepreneur or you're going to do it as an employee? Right? Then there's a difference. If you're going to go and do it as an employee, well, I can't help you because there's a process. But you want to do it as entrepreneurship, we can talk. I'll help you. And depending on what you want to do, that's the more important thing. Okay. Okay. Yeah, Israelis and Americans don't have an exact plan from their present war with Iran as the Iranians stand tall and firm. Even to call for a ceasefire would be a loss of stature. Let's see how it goes. I agree with you. Nothing which is inagreeable. I agree with you completely. Right? Afghans also stooped. Well, that's their choice. Yeah. Underage espionage activity, 15 caught in Delhi, NCR can, Delhi army movements with. All this will happen. See, you have to understand that India is a very transparent and open society. You can do anything here. Right? I won't fight it. My way of looking at it is use this to feed misinformation. झूठ बोलो. Do we have a capacity to impose ceasefire? No, then it's a stalemate. Yeah, see, you're coming out with all hypothetical things कि ये हम नहीं कर सकते हैं. हम क्या कर सकते हैं वो तो देखो. हम बहुत कुछ कर सकते हैं. ठीक है? Right. For some reason, all my questions from the top are not. Yeah, no, fine. Let's see from the top. India is in a great position to mediate, which is what I asked 3 weeks ago. However, is it not due to solving China-Pak issue? Not getting no. There's not none of these. I think the time has not come, and India has to get over its own hesitations to do this. Okay. Yeah, negotiations succeed or fail based on what groundwork is done. I agree with you. You need to do groundwork. I think that's what our Prime Minister is doing by speaking to everyone, the groundwork he's making. Yeah, we have a genuine interest in well-being of all players due to deep tech or energy dependence. Yeah, nobody will listen as we cannot make them say. You'll be surprised. When they don't have any other choice, they'll come to you. So leave it at that. Iranians are full of ego, which is not helpful to the situation. Well, if it's not helpful, they'll come to a stage where they'll have to shed their ego. It's neither Europeans nor the Americans orchestrating present events. I agree with you. Uh, you attack a country and expect the people to rise against the regime. That's the stupidest logic. Yeah, that's their logic, Krishna. Leave it at that. अंडमान में निकोबार में ऑयल डिस्कवरी हुआ उसका क्या और मैंने सुना है वो बस गया ना जितना विल सी ये देखते हैं कहाँ तक वो आएगा नहीं आएगा ओके या So, with enough diversification with Russia, Venezuela, and US oil and gas, will it be worth it to involve ourselves in a conflict that has little impact on our? No, no, we have huge problems. I've shown you why we need this conflict to stop. Okay, people are 9 million of our people are there. How will they keep coming and going if this conflict doesn't stop? What are the costs associated to negotiations? Yeah, you might become an enemy of both. That's the only cost. Okay. If USA takes oil off the world market, whole world will see what a it's real. Already fuel crisis in Australia, Sri Lanka, Poland, as per Twitter, and many more countries will just follow. Wait for one more week and things will happen. Though India is favorably placed, would US allow it center stage? That's a question mark. But does US have a choice? At what stage will they get out? Will they get out without some kind of a ceasefire? Yeah. If so, is it any use going for UN Security Council? We don't need a UN Security Council seat. I am very convinced because where is the UN in this whole story? There's no UN. कोई पूछता नहीं है. Why go there? I also quoted the Wall Street earlier. Yep. I keep quoting because it's good to see all round news. Okay. Dubai real estate has dropped by 30%. It'll go back up. Once this whole story is over and reconstruction starts, it'll go back. Don't. This is all temporary. Okay. You know, I heard something yesterday from a expert, financial expert. You put money in the fund, in the markets, financial markets or equity markets, only which you don't need for the next 5 to 6 years. Otherwise, don't put money there. You put money in property only if you need to stay in it. Otherwise, don't put money in it. In this opportunity, in this crisis, we have an opportunity. Don't miss this. I agree with you. Okay. How to read Basit's new threat to Mumbai? I spoke of it in the morning. Why repeat it? He should be ignored. And maybe I'll do a program on Pakistan one of these days separately. There's a lot of funny things that are happening in Pakistan. We need talk. We need to talk to three parties to stop war. Yep, I agree with you. Where else? Who? Which? Okay. India has overproduction capacity of renewables. Transmissions can't allow certain percentage because of unsteady. No, you can do it for houses. If you do solar in the houses, you have no problem. You don't need transmission and all that beyond a point. Okay. Right. Let me see if there are any other questions. Yeah, induction and solar should be on standby. Just don't depend. Yeah, I agree with you completely. Can India mediate between Israel and Arab nations and Iran, putting aside Trump. You can't leave him out. He's part of the problem today. How can you leave Trump out? He'll come in whichever way. So don't think you can do all this side deals. It won't help. What percentage of India's energy needs can thorium supply? 15 to 20%, if I remember right. We can. But that all depends on how much you can, how many plants you can commission, and over a period of time. You need to gain expertise in the technology also. In power generation, that's the thing. Okay, I think we have finished. Yeah, I think we have done. There's not many questions left. Right. Yeah, why do we forget solar cookers even in summer? That's part, solar cookers take their time. I don't know. I had a solar cooker in our unit, right? It takes time, but it cooks well. The taste is good in that. Mm. Yeah. I and my friend had a debate over drinks, I mean dinner, and I said we need to prepare for war with China plus US just to be prepared, even though no, that will not happen. Don't worry. Okay, I think, yeah. Can you talk of Pak army in taking Strait of Hormuz? They will open a front in Balochistan or US Marines land and all that. Brian did speak that there's a requirement of them to open up a front, and they can't open up a front because internally they'll be in a problem. And we'll speak of Pakistan. They're in a mess. They're in a right royal mess at this point of time. Okay, for something, everything has got cut. Anyway, that's it for the day. Thanks a lot. Uh, I'll come back at 2 o'clock. If I can't come back at 2, it'll be at about 2:33 or whatever time. So just be patient, but I'll come back tomorrow. In the afternoon, we'll have a session on the update for day 23. Till then, have a great time and take care of all of you. Jai Hind to all of you and good night.